3 U.S. soldiers were shot and killed in Afghanistan. 2 other soldiers were also wounded. The attack happened in the Nangarhar province in the eastern part of the country. Officials say the Afghan soldier who opened fire on the U.S. soldiers was a Taliban militant who infiltrated the Afghan army. Well, the White House says President Trump has been briefed and is monitoring the situation in Afghanistan as he spends the weekend at his home in New Jersey. Joining me now to take a closer look at the military situation facing U.S. forces in Afghanistan is Andrew Shapiro, who served as the Assistant Secretary of State for Political and Military Affairs in the Obama administration. Andrew, thank you for your time here this afternoon as we delve into this. Is there any concern that there may be an escalation of this type here when it comes to our troops there?
Well, there's always a concern after an attack like this about how secure our troops are. As you may recall, in 2012, there was a steep spike in the number of these types of attacks, 44 attacks. And after that, then Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta ordered certain steps to be taken to protect our troops, greater vetting, greater procedures to make sure that our troops were secure. And indeed, the number of attacks has decreased. They've also decreased because the number of U.S. troops in Afghanistan has gone down. But every time an attack like this happens, it raises a question of how secure our troops are and what we need to do to make sure that they're safe.
Well, given that, and given the vetting that goes into this, when we're talking about infiltration into the Afghan army, how does that even happen? What is the level of sophistication, if there is at all, in something like that happening and getting through?
Well, it's unclear whether this person joined the Afghan military as a member of the Taliban or was turned once they joined. And there may have been an incident or something happened during their service that made them susceptible to Taliban recruitment, or they may have, from the very beginning, been a Taliban sympathizer. And that, I think, is what the investigation by the U.S. military will try and suss out to make sure that there are no other gaps and that there are no other infiltrators who could conduct a similar type of attack.
And what does that investigation entail at this point, knowing, of course, gathering the information, finding out what happened? But how quickly can something be implemented? If we saw that happen before, how quickly can something be implemented, and knowing that if this is something that, as has been reported, is kind of on the rise, that we're seeing more in the region, that can be avoided?
Well, I think they're going to take a look at this particular Afghan soldier and look at their background, look how they were vetted, see if there were any mistakes in vetting that need to be corrected. At the same time, this is an area where there is a great deal of fighting going on. It's an area where the Taliban are trying to make progress in their fight against the Afghan government and U.S. troops. And so there is going to be continued efforts by the Taliban to try and inflict losses on U.S. troops as a part of this campaign.
All right, Andrew Shapiro, thank you for being with me.